Hello, just a quick word from me before the video begins. I wanted to say thank you to everyone who's pushed me past the 100 subscribers mark, which is a really cool achievement for me. I didn't necessarily think that would happen, to be honest, but thank you for liking, commenting, any sharing and subscribing, and I will let you get on with this video. Hello and welcome to this video, coming straight to you from sunny Dartmoor. I've parked up at Meldon Reservoir again, which is where I parked a few weeks ago, but the conditions were very different on that trip. If you click on this link, you'll see me getting pelted by hail and cultivating a small pond in the vestibule of my tent. I'm very happy that the conditions are so much better today, and I've gone from waterproofs to sun cream, and I know which I prefer. So what I'm doing today is a fairly simple walk. It's not too challenging. I'm walking down to the Meldon Viaduct, which I haven't seen before, and then I'm taking a fairly short route up to Black Tor, which sits up above the West Oakmont River, which is the river that runs down in and fills Meldon Reservoir. It is a glorious day today. It's really nice to be out in the sun again, and I'm hoping that Black Tor is not going to be too busy. I think it's quite popular, and because it's only about 2.5 or 3 miles away from the reservoir car park, there's a good chance that I might encounter some other campers up there. If that's the case, I think I'll probably just move on. That's only happened to me once before, actually. In Wales, I got to the top of the mountain I wanted to camp on, and there was someone else who had already turned up nice and early, got himself pitched up. So I just continued walking past him, gave him a wave, and found a spot a couple of 100 metres away that was out of sight, and gave us both our privacy and our quiet time in the mountain. There is Meldon Viaduct itself then. Tricky little crossing there over the river. I was 80% sure I'd be okay over that. I was thinking, does the wise man put his mobile phone and any electricals in a dry bag at this time? I think the answer is yes, so I guess that means I'm not a wise man yet. But it's not very far at all down to the viaduct from here, which is handy. Here we go, this sign is taking us to the public footpath to viaduct. So we've got a whole sequence of steps there, which will take us all the way up to this 50-metre high viaduct. It's now part of a cycleway. It's known as the Granite Way. It's a shared path, so it's for bikes and walkers alike. So let's get working on these steps. The views up here are good. You can see the reservoir car park over here, and then the dam itself, the dam wall is here. And I'm going to be going up onto these hills tonight to camp. And this viaduct was originally built in the 1870s, but has had a couple of makeovers since. And as you can see, it's now a really well surfaced shared path called the Granite Way. So I'll now carry on to the other end of the viaduct and I'll make my way back across the reservoir down wall, and then it's up into the hills. Hello. I'm just on the road now that takes you to Meldon Reservoir car park. Just see a nice little house here. Nice spot, but I guess the only downside is that you're going to get lots of traffic coming past here, coming to park and have a look at the reservoir. Anyway, onwards we go. Let's get this walk really moving. I'm now just 100 metres or so from the car park, and dead ahead of us in the centre of the screen, right at the top of that ridge, is Black Tor. That's where I'm heading today, and I hope to be up there a good hour or so before sunset, hopefully, so I can take in some of the evening sun. It's really mild here today. I did turn up in my shorts, which I think was maybe a little bit optimistic because it was only 12 degrees on the drive down, 12 degrees Celsius that is. But yeah, trousers weather now. I'd say it's going to be warm work getting up the hills, but to look up there today compared to last time when I was battling very strong winds, sort of 30, 40, 50 mile an hour winds with horizontal rain and hailstones being blown straight into my eyes, it's going to be a really nice day out on the hills today. The loudest thing I can hear is a sheep grazing just to my right. Oh, we have a lamb as well, 2 lambs. So once again, if I pan back to the right, this is Black Tor. So I will be looking down on the reservoir tonight. At least I think I've got my bearings right. As you can see, it is extremely peaceful here today. I don't know if it's the time of day, maybe because it's getting on for about 6 o'clock now, I think. But it seems less busy than it was when I came here in the pouring rain. This is just one of the bonuses of coming out wild camping, really. You tend to arrive at places just when everyone else is going home. So you can often pass people as they make their way down from the places you're just about to walk to. So you get far less intrusion from other people and you get these peaceful scenes. Hello there. You scratching the good spot? It is warming up now, so I have slight regrets about not bringing my shorts, but it's only, I think, about 2 kilometers now up to the top, so before too long I'll be stopping walking, which is when you start cooling down and when you start pitching your tent and unpacking, so I'll probably want to get the layers on then. Let's crack on. are here up at Black Tor now, and I'm very happy with where I've chosen to camp. It's very peaceful. We've got the West Oakment River just down at the bottom here. Classic Dartmoor rock formations. And I'll show you where I've decided to pitch. I haven't seen anyone else up here, so that's a good sign so far. A little bit of boggy ground just where I was walking there, but I've chosen to put my tent just between these two clumps of rocks. Right in here, that'll do me fine. Time to get the tent up. This is one reason I love the Terra Southern Cross one. It is pretty small. That's a 4-season tent there, just next to its poles for comparison. Nice and compact. Just a quick chat about why I've chosen this spot. The ground here is quite flat, reasonably level, but it's slanting off, so the left-hand end is a little bit higher than the right. So what I'm going to do is have the door facing this way, so away from the sunset, but that means that I'll get to see the sunrise in the morning. And I'm going to sleep with my head up at this end, because if you have your head lower than your feet, you'll start to feel unwell, because gravity takes its toll and things like stomach acid and whatnot want to flow the wrong way. So if I have my head up at the slightly higher end, I should be comfortable tonight. So I'll get the poles in and get the pegs in. I haven't got too much time tonight because the sun is starting to go down, so I'm going to go for the quick pitch option. That's the red pole in. Time to get the tent up. And now it's time to get the guy lines in. That is the Terra Southern Cross 1 pitch now. As ever, it has pitched absolutely perfectly. Tight as a drum. And that is not going anywhere tonight. So I think what I'll do now is get everything unpacked, get my sleep mat and my sleeping bag and everything set up inside, and then I'll get some food going while I've still got lots of daylight left, which is one of the bonuses of summertime in the UK. So I don't know where you are in the world, but here in the UK we change our clocks every year just to confuse everyone. So in the summer we roll our clocks forward 1 hour. So effectively your sunset happens an hour later than it was happening before. But of course, the sunsets get later and later as the year progresses as well. So in the winter we have really, really dark evenings because we set our clocks back an hour, and it would be dark by about 4:15 in the afternoon. So to get to this point of the year where I can still sit out and eat my food at 8 o'clock will be a really nice way to see the end of the day out. I'll quickly just show you around here before it gets too dark. You can see how I tend to set myself up here. So I have my breakfast ready in the morning and my stove next to it. They stay tucked down out of here. My rucksack sits right down there, just beyond this tension band. So you can see, looking straight in from the front, the rucksack's completely out of the doorway there, out of my my path in and out of the tent. And then on the inside, I've got my Thermarest NeoAir XTherm, Rab Ascent 900, and then I've got some warm dry clothes in the blue dry bag. I've got my big down jacket in this black bag over here and some gloves in the middle, and then the yellow dry bag is the bag I had my tent in just before I unpacked it. In my last video I was doing a tent comparison, and I talked about the inner being a bit saggy on the Southern Cross, and I said that I would tension the corner straps better next time I pitched it. So there's a strap here, one in the opposite corner, and then one in each corner down here, which I have shown before, but in my comparison video I didn't tension these, so you can see there's a bit of tension on that now, and the inner tent is holding up pretty well. This bit here is draping in a bit, so it does droop in a bit on each side, and I really wish it didn't, but I have made peace with that. I have found that it can sort of drape on your face a little bit, but yeah, I've mentioned this in a few videos now, and it's not the end of the world. It's not going to make me give up the tent or go for something different. Look at that sky. This is a fantastic pitch, I've got to say. It's not going to be long before it drops down behind the hills there. So it's time to get my food unpacked. I'm going to get some warmer clothes on, and I'll get some food on the go. Well, it's just gone 8 o'clock and the sun has dropped behind the hills now. So sunset has officially happened, and because of that the temperature is starting to drop. You'll notice I'm wearing some different clothes now. And it's really important that you take that into consideration, because as soon as you stop moving, your temperature will start to plummet, because you're not generating heat anymore by walking around, lugging a rucksack up and down the hills. So while the temperature just when I stopped was meant to be about 6 degrees, so it's down to about 3 degrees now, I'd say, at a guess. So because of that, I've now got thermal trousers underneath my walking trousers. I've got a thermal base layer long sleeve t-shirt under here. I've then got a fleece, well, a sort of micro fleece hoodie on top of that. I've also got a buff on around my neck, which is fleece lined, and I've got my down jacket on, and I've got a hat. I can feel the cold getting to my fingers already, so it's definitely the right thing to do to get all those layers on before you get cold, because it's much easier to retain heat than it is to try and generate it once you've already cooled down. So it's now time to get some food cooking. I've got my MSR Windburner here, and I've got a drinks bottle of 500 millilitres of water here, so I'll get the stove lit now. And get the water in there. That's lovely and hot now, so I'll let the food absorb the heat from that water, and then I'll swap it straight away for the pudding, and the pudding will be ready as soon as my main course is finished. I'm going to get some gloves. Good morning. As you can see, I've got a nice clear start to the day, and it was a really clear sky in the night as well, as you've hopefully seen from the time lapse of the many stars and the moon moving across the sky as well. It wasn't a bad night's sleep. I think I had 4 or 5 hours between getting up to change batteries in the GoPro and just generally admiring the night sky. It was quite a cold night. The tent was starting to frost up from about 9 PM onwards on the inside and the outside. Not too much condensation again, so it hasn't been a major issue at all. The temperature is probably 0 or 1 degrees at the moment, the wind's picking up, so the wind chill's really biting into my fingers now. So I am just going to get my Windburner stove lit up, get some nice hot water on the go, and have a hot tub of porridge to get my day kicked off. This is one of my favourite times in a tent, when it's freezing outside, but you're wrapped up in your sleeping bag, cosy on the inside, having a nice tub of hot food. So I'm going to enjoy this. I'll get packed up and then I'll start walking back down. Not sure which route I'll take yet. I think I might head straight down the side of the hill here down to the river and follow the river path back to the reservoir. I'll see you on the way. Well, we're on the move now. I've packed everything up and I was careful to leave no trace, which is always the aim when you come wild camping. No one should ever be able to tell that you were there. So everything's packed up, all my rubbish is put away in a carrier bag, and I'm taking it all home to put in my bin. It's warming up a little bit now. Where I camped up on Black Tor there was up at 475 metres or 1500 feet, 1600 feet. There's still a bit of a breeze down here, but the wind's a bit warmer and a bit weaker than it was on the top. I did walk along this river a few weeks ago on the previous camp, but this time instead of swinging to the right and going along the right hand side of the reservoir, I'm going to cross over and then walk back along a path on the left hand side of the reservoir. So it'll just be a change of scene, something I haven't seen before. And we'll see what views there are along the way. I'm nearly back at the car now, so thank you for coming along for this trip. I hope you've enjoyed it. I know I have, and if you have any questions or comments, please leave them below, and please subscribe if you'd like to see more. I'll see you on the next one.